Guys, it's been long. I know. Look, I had to take a break. So because of the Christmas break, that is why the Q&A had to take a little bit of a pause. But I'm back in here again, and I'm going to answer all of the questions. I'm sure that most of the questions will actually have backdated, but still, I'll still address all of the questions that I missed out upon. So remember, guys, if you want your question answered, you head to the main website, the official website, halfhopefootballhut.com. You scroll down to the contact us, you put in your name, your email, and your question. You put it in there, you send it through, and then I will receive it, and then we can then talk about whatever question you want answered. It can either be football-related, sports-related, or even non-sports-related. Any question that is burning in your mind that you want your boy W to answer, I shall answer. Let's ride. So first one here, we have from Moses Codwill. Hopefully I got your name right. Hi, Half Hope. Hope you are good. Love your channel and the analysis. Just wanted to ask, do you think an African team will lift a FIFA World Cup? If so, who will be the first to do so? An African team will not be winning the World Cup this year. I'm not sure that an African team will do so the next 4 years. Maybe the next 10, 15 years, because I think that African football as a whole is very much behind the Europeans and the South Americans. But if an African team was to lift, I think we're looking at either Egypt or Nigeria, either a North African nation if they go through some luck and they're inspired, or maybe like it's someone like a Nigeria, potentially maybe like a Senegal with some of the players they're going through. But I'm definitely looking at either a Nigeria or a North African side to win it. But I think footballing-wise, talents-wise, personnel-wise, there's still a lot of steps and tiers behind the European and the South Americans. Okay, next one here. From Patrick. Hey man, you make bold statements such as Neymar will never or not win Champions League and World Cup in 2018. I'll hold his words and remind you the day he dethrones Christina and Messi. My question this week, how do you think teams should approach the attacking style of Man City and PSG? Do you think these two teams play the same or are they different? I'm asking this because both teams have high quality in midfield and pace in attacking, but how are they different? Also, if Man City face PSG, who will win? And do you think Bayern will win the Champions League? I feel like they're an underdog in the Champions League, and I see them creating huge upsets in the later stages of the competition. What do you think? Thanks for the question. A lot of questions there, so let me just go through them one by one. So the first one, so basically, City and PSG, I think the only way you can defend against them is you have to have very good defenders. You have to defend deep, and you've got to emulate AC Milan from the 90s. It's the Italian team from the 90s and the Inter Milan of 2010. As in, you've got to play it deep. You've got to be physically strong against them. You've got to frustrate them, and you've got to slow the game down. You've got to tire them out, and you've got to restrict them from having any chance, because once you do that, you frustrate them, and that is when they start to go to sleep. Once they go to sleep by being frustrated by how they can't break you down because your wall is so strong and you've been so well defensively drilled, that is when you can then pick them apart by your counterattacks and by the way in which you attack by using the ball well. So it is all about defense first, cutting off the space, restricting them, frustrating them, being physical against them, making the game slow, making it thugged out, making it very bitty, professional fouls, stopping the flow of the game. Once you do that, that is how, basically, you've got to spoil the game and make the game very rough and very ugly. If City play PSG, I mean, for me, I may give the edge to City purely on Guardiola because of his tactics. I think he'll be able to coach him and outcoach Emery. And Bayern have a chance. If Bayern make one or two nice little acquisitions this January window, I just think a team that has the Polish nuke there, I will never go against Robin. I still believe Boateng and Hummels are the best defensive pairing in the world. If Neuer can come back from injury, there is no reason why Bayern can just sneak away and actually win the Champions League. Because look, Uncle Heinkes is there. I don't think they'll do it, but you can't sleep on them. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? So you got that. So Kavish Birju, what is the most shocking Champions League result you've witnessed over the last decade? Also, what was the greatest ever final you've seen in the Champions League and the most entertaining football match you've witnessed? So I suppose it's all Champions League related. So the most shocking Champions League results has to be what Chelsea did. I know there are two. I think Chelsea, how Chelsea navigated against Barcelona in that semi-final in the Nou Camp when they were playing with 10 men, and this was peak Barcelona. And I'd also have to say Deportivo La Coruña coming back from 5-1 down in the second leg to defeat AC Milan. I think that was in the 2004. Yeah, I think that was the 03-04 Champions League. Greatest ever final in the Champions League. It's got to be Man United against Bayern. You know, the 98-99 because of what United did. It's still one of the I still don't believe they've managed to do that. Most entertaining football match you've ever witnessed. I keep on saying this, Italy-Germany. Even if it was 2-0 until like the latter minute of second half extra time, that is the best football match I've ever seen, and that has to be one of the most entertaining football matches I've ever seen. Just purely on a footballing level, but just for just raw entertainment. Look, I mean, a lot of the Liverpool-Newcastle games from back in the 90s were pretty exciting. Almost any Brazil, I think there was a Brazil-Argentina game in the Olympics that was actually pretty popping off. Pablo, hello HH, I love your channel. I have 3 questions. Who is better? Real Madrid from 1950 to 1970, Di Stefano, Paco Gento. 1990 to 2000, young Raul, young Guti. 2000 to 07, Galacticos. Or 2010 to 2017, Cristiano, Benzema, Saint Ike. Easily 2010 to 2017, because that was the team that won flipping 2 Champions Leagues back to back and have 3 Champions Leagues in like the space of 4 or 5 years. What has led to the downfall of AC Milan? Poor management from the higher up. So like Galliani and Berlusconi, they just screwed up the whole team. So poor upper management. Don't you think the Premier League has gone down in performance? Slightly. I think it's had a dip, but I think it has slightly gone up, but I think it's slightly going down. Because when you look at some of the top games, the football isn't very good. Since 2000, only 3 English teams have ever won the Champions League. Liverpool, Man U, Chelsea. In that time, Spain has had 4 clubs at the final. Valencia, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Barcelona with a total of 13 final appearances. When 10 years ago there was likely to be an English team in the semi-final, they've been showing up less and less. So yeah, I just think definitely the standard in the Premier League has definitely gone down. I will not argue with that. All right, now it's gonna be long, boy. All right, AJ. Hey HH, if you were put in charge of the Nigerian Football Federation, what would you do to improve development at all levels of their men's and women's football? Better organization, more money to coaches, get coaches from Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Get those guys to come in and work with the youths. Also coaches from Holland as well. Definitely coaches from Ajax. I'll get legends like Rijkaard, De Boer, Davids, Desai, Cannavaro, some of the legends of the game, Bart Simpson, Philip Lam, to come and do special masterclasses with the young boys. And make sure that the government doesn't interfere, and just make sure that the federation is run efficiently and properly. And I think once you do that, then I think you will definitely see some change. Max Okundov, what's up, bro? Why do you think it hasn't worked out for Michy Batshuayi at Chelsea? Should he go back to Marseille? And which other teams shouldn't consider? Okay, so why do you think it hasn't worked out for Batshuayi at Chelsea? Coach doesn't believe in him. He's not been given enough support. He's not given enough playing time, and I just don't think that the system really fits him and the players around him. Should he go back to Marseille? No, I think he's too good for Marseille. I definitely think that he should look at perhaps a move to Sevilla or even a Villarreal, because with Villarreal, Baba Campo is going to China, so they'll be in need of a strike. So I think he should think about trying out Villarreal. And which other teams shouldn't consider moving to? I think you're saying which teams should he not consider moving to? Back to Marseille or back to France, because he has to move beyond France. With the Belgium striking core being pretty deep with players such as Lukaku, Mertens, Benteke, Origi, someone is going to be left out. Do you think Batshuayi might miss out on the World Cup due to lack of game time? Thank you for everything, brother, and Merry Christmas because you did this during Christmas. Yeah. If I am Martinez, Lukaku, Mertens, Benteke is iffy. Origi for sure, because Origi, Lukaku, Mertens have been playing regularly. Benteke not really, and Batshuayi hardly. So, for Batshuayi, it is imperative if he wants to be involved in the World Cup and even have playing time, he has to go to a team, because this January, February, March, April, May, this is 4 or 5 months are the months where you can prove that you want to be in Martinez's plans. And I think 100% Batshuayi deserves to be in that team. I do think he's more talented than Lukaku and Benteke, because I think the 3 best strikers for Belgium based on performance, I believe, are Batshuayi, Mertens, and Origi. But he has to play. So yeah, that's the reality. Adam, hi HH. What do you prefer, Star Wars or Star Trek, and why? I prefer Star Trek. I believe that the original Star Wars trilogy is the greatest trilogy of all time. That is a fact. And I'm never going to dispute that. But I just prefer Star Trek because I think that when Gene Roddenberry made Star Trek, it's appealed to everybody. Because again, it was a thing about all races involved, the ideas that was about, the sophistication, the excitement. I think one of the greatest characters of all time is Captain Kirk. That is just, he's an incredible timeless character. So I just think that for a couple of those reasons, which is why I think 100% I am much more of a Star Trek over Star Wars. Although I do think that those 3 films of Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, are classic films. The rest are trash, especially the newest films, complete and utter trash. Nicholas. Hey HH, do you think Guardiola is developing a deep bond and relationship with Man City? I notice how passionate and exciting his behavior has been with the Man City fans after games. Could his love for Man City exceed the one he had at Barcelona, or will he jump ship again if they start to crumble and it was a show all the time? I think people forget that Guardiola loved Bayern. But Guardiola had a strong bond with Bayern Munich as well. And I just think that he's just a very emotional guy. 100%, I do believe that there's an expiry date for him and Man City. He's not going to be here for 5, 6, 7 seasons. He may do 4, max 5. I think he may do 4. But yeah, I think he just wants to build a nice foundation and he'll be off. I think definitely he wants to try out Spain. He would definitely try and go in and try and definitely win a World Cup as a manager with Spain. So that's something that he'll definitely be looking towards. So I just think that it's just his personality. Graham Smith, yo Halfhope, do you think Eden Hazard will be able to score 50 goals in one season if he joins Real Madrid next term? No. He may get 15 or 17 assists, he ain't scoring 50 Gs, relax. SB, hello Halfhope, Merry Christmas, thank you. I wanted to ask you, what is the best football present that you have been given or received in your lifetime? Mine is when I was given a pair of gloves to my younger brother, and that smile on his face is what I can't forget for my entire life. That's very nice. Best football gift. It probably has to be either a good friend of mine gave me a magazine that previewed the African Nations Cup before it's begun. So I think that's definitely a close one. And my brother gave me a management game, because I think I've owned almost every single football management game. So it was like a player manager, I think it was player manager something from the 90s. Yeah, that was a big one because I was a huge management. Because I think that's that management game and the African Nations Cup magazine. Abdi, what's your thoughts on Angel Correa and Joaquin Correa? I'm not sure I know of the Correa in Sevilla. I think I do, I'm not sure, but I definitely know the Correa in Atletico. Good players, really good players. Skillful, technical. I think they're kind of examples of, you have like your tier 1 superstars like your Modric, Messi, and so forth. And then you have like your tier 2 who are like your Correas. And these kind of guys, like these Korea guys, are a lot better than the kind of tier 2 equivalents that you'd see either in Syria, Bundesliga, or the Premier League. That shows just how quality the La Liga is. Mohammed, no. Hi, H, love your videos, mate, and keep up the good work. Since you live in England, I wanted to ask you, which Premier League club do you live the closest to? Stay blessed and stay black. Arsenal. I can walk to Arsenal Stadium from my crib. So yeah, Arsenal is the closest stadium to where I was, and a family friend of mine actually lived right next to the flipping stadium. But he was a Man United fan. Yeah. Max Okunov. Hello, brother. Who is your favorite current football player? I'm still going to stick with Marcelo. I mean, Robin and Neymar, I'm sticking with Marcelo. Who's your favorite player of all time? That's tough to ask. It's a tie between Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and Okocha. It's a tie between those three. Who's the player you hate now and of all time? Cristiano. Aside from Cristiano, okay. John Terry, because he's racist and an adulterer. Who do you think is the most overrated, underrated player right now? The most overrated, Cristiano still. Most underrated, I'd say Aspilicueta or Umtiti. I'd probably say Aspilicueta. People are sleeping on him. Marshall Macaluso. Hey, HH, this is for this week's Q&A. Okay, this is old. With Uncle Heinkes rejuvenating Bayern into fantastic form. Bayern are 11 points atop the Bundesliga, have already knocked out Dortmund and Leipzig in the DFB Cup and performed an impressive victory over PSG. How do you think Yop did it? Do you think that it's to do with respect in the locker room, tactical changes, or a combination of both? Thanks for the great work, counting down the days till the World Cup. PS, if you had to choose between Kimmich or James' Bayern jersey, which would you prefer? Looking for that double-edged blessing on a Christmas gift. Well, for Yop, I believe it is a combination of all those things. I think tactical change huge, because I think Yop introduced his kind of slower, much more careful, old school build up of how to attack that he had with Bayern during when he was a manager. There's a respect as well. You know, Yop demands a respect. He won the flipping treble with Bayern, the only guy to do so. And I think it's communication as well, and I think it's the kind of bond he has with the players that were already there, like Ribery, Robin, and so forth. I think that is what really helped the team, because again, once you looked with the Bayern with Ancelotti, there was no structure. There was no real idea of what they wanted to do. And when you heard about they didn't really do any kind of drills in training, then it begins to make sense. So yeah, I just think that, you know, like it just shows you that you can be the best player in the world. You can have the best players in the world. If you don't have that captain of the ship, that manager, that overseer, you can't do anything. And the same thing that we had that you saw with France during the 2010 World Cup, where they, like with Dominic, was not doing anything, so the players thought they could actually coach them themselves, and they flopped. So yeah. Because I think it is just amazing when you just see the difference between what's Hathaway with Ancelotti and Hathaway with Heinkes. And I do think that beyond tactical, it's a mental thing, it's a psychological thing, it's a communicating thing, it's how the manager talks to you in training, how they address you as a team, as a group, how he addresses you player to player, the kind of bond, the relationships that he forges with one another. Because I told you, man, the mental tip is very, very important. And if it's just between a Kimmich and a James jersey, I would take a Kimmich Bayern jersey. Thank you very much. So yeah, thank you for that, for thinking about it. I'll take a Kimmich one. Pierre Richard Michel. Hello, HH. My question this week: can we admit that Kevin De Bruyne this season is having a Ballon d'Or season? If he keeps this form in the Premier League, in the Champions League, and also in the World Cup, I think he can be a serious case to win the Ballon d'Or. Or also, can Morocco come out of the group with Iran, Spain, and Portugal? I feel they have a chance if they beat by a good 2 goals, by 2 or 3 goals Iran, then gets a draw with either Spain or Portugal. Who knows? They have a nice team with Benatia, the back, Belhanda, Ziyech, but more with the manager, Hevrena, who has won the African Nations Cup with Zambia and Ivory Coast. He must be the best coach in the group. I feel they can cause a surprise. What's your take on that? 100% De Bruyne, if he continues to play well, has a big World Cup, the big Champions League, without a doubt, he has to be in the running to win the Ballon d'Or, has to be a favourite. Morocco have a chance. They have a chance. They have to beat Iran. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just think Spain and Portugal have too much quality in them for Morocco to come out of the groups. There is a very little to no chance of them coming out of the group at the expense of either Spain or Portugal. Although, I do think 100% Spain, if Portugal gets some key injuries and they somehow, it doesn't work out for them and they do what they did back in 2014, then who knows? Maybe. Farid El Dafrawi. Hey HH, hope you're doing fine. I know you're familiar with former Egyptian player Abu Trika. Yes, my question is, do you think he was underrated? Slightly. Based on what he did internationally for his team, I think he definitely deserved a bit more credit for his achievements. And do you think he could have played in Europe? Yeah. If you're good, you're good. The guy was a technically good player. He could have definitely played in Europe. If so, what team and how would he fit the system? Thanks, I appreciate your videos. I think that he would have fitted into like a Sevilla or a Villarreal, like a free-flowing attacking team that likes to pass the ball and keep the ball on the ground. So definitely, he would not have worked in the Premier League. Syria, possibly like a Torino, maybe a Lazio, but definitely like a Villarreal, is a Sevilla, even a Real Sociedad. I think he would have definitely worked in those kinds of pass-minded teams. All right. Damn, these are some little questions, bro. Okay, let's just go through these three now. Nash Tariq Hood. Hello, HH. 3 important questions. How come you never do 8 to 12 minutes postman analysis for each game like you used to? It's coming back. Don't worry. I will be coming back to those long ones. Can you please start shooting your videos while sitting by the table covered with a Nigerian flag at a far distance from the camera, like you used to in the second half of 2010? I might try. Can you take off your glasses and show your face? No, I can't, because this is half up. Without the sunshades, it's not half up. With the sunshades, it is half up. I'm sorry. Can't do that. Nash Could again. Will you be doing a Brick Door Award like you did in the early 2016? And how come you didn't do this one to 2017? Sorry, there were just, complications, but I will try and get to that. Nash Could again. Why is life so hard and why is the real world so harsh? Life is so hard because it is a lot that we've been given. We make it hard for ourselves as a human race based on how we've messed up, the wars that we've created, the rules that we've created, the injustices that our political governments have created for ourselves. So it's a combination of what we've done as a human race and nature, life. That's why people who are religious, who are spiritual, like me, say, Lord Creator, why do kids have to die? Why do kids have to be born without any arms or legs? So it's a long age-old question. We may never receive the answer, but just something that we just have to accept. Thank you for the question. Okay, that is it for this first half of the HH Q&A. I will be doing the second half after this. So this is the end of part 1. Peace out.